What you see now is how the past was handled. And that's the reason why now must be handled well. And thank God for these opportunities from the University of Ibadan and Tech Bridge. If I will talk about now, which I will quickly say now, I will need to let us know that there are past. When Mr. Birunke was introducing the program to us, he mentioned something. He talked about Industrial Revolution, the fourth one. Yeah, there are revolutions in the past, and we need to know where we're coming from so that we can key in now, so that we will not end up as Africa at the background and the end of what is now and what is coming. We've had a revolution called Agrarian, purely, people putting their hands on agriculture. And during the time of this revolution, it was now for some people there. And some of those people who could understand that it was there, they are now then, just like it is now for you. You know what they did? They were coming up with innovations. And that was what led to the second revolution. Then people were farming. Nobody is thinking about how to preserve products, apart from few. You are among the few now that will determine the future. And that's the reason why this program is coming up. Those few, they were thinking about if these people keep on producing, the agricultural products, very soon there will be enough, and there is no, technology to preserve. So some were thinking about preservation. They were half them to solve problems. Just like this program is to introduce you to solving problems, because those who are ready to solve problems are those who will survive tomorrow. Now, then that led to another revolution called Industrial Revolution. Different stages, Industrial Revolution 1, the second, the third. Just like he mentioned the other time that we are into fourth Industrial Revolution. But I will not actually, based on my feet, quickly call that Industrial Revolution 4. But I want to use the language of now. I want to talk from information view, point of view, and I want to talk from technology. Few years ago, we were talking about information economy. Now we are talking about digital economy. So if I will talk about now, where we are now, so that we know what we need to do, I want to call now what? New economy. And what is that new economy? That allow collaborative and responsive world. The economy we have now. Sorry, I'm going to bring this into something practical so that we can quickly, write on it and go on. But I need to use the word so that the right word, the keywords, so that we understand the race we're into. So we have a new economy. It is clear. If we sleep in yesterday, we will not get to the future. And that is why you are privileged to be a part of this African challenge. So privileged. It may look like it's a small thing, but I am very sure, like he said, the near future is going to put demarcation between those who understand what you are about to do and those who don't understand. So now we have an economy, and that economy is fueled by hyper-connectivity. Some of these things but I just want us to understand it before I make my conclusion on that your time is now, so that you will know you need to run. We need to run. We are trying to build a platform for us. We are trying to build something that will spring us forward so that we can run. Now is the time to run, or else tomorrow, if it catches up with us, the same way we have been doing things, I'm afraid that Africa will be able to survive. But I know people like you here today, including myself, the University Tech Bridge, will not allow that to happen. Africa will feature in the next revolution. Now, hyperconnectivity everywhere, large broadband, number of connectivity has increased all over the world, but it is not this that matters now, but we just need to know it. We have supercomputing. It's also fueled by supercomputing. In those days, you see big computers, the number of jobs that can be delivered. But now, even with a wristwatch and its processor, a lot can be delivered. Now we have cloud computing. I'm talking about now, so that we know where we are now. Some of us, you may not have given attention to some of these keywords or what is happening. You are using them, but we don't give attention to them. And we must not continue as users. We must be ready to be a part of what is happening. So we have cloud computing now. Data is increasing, big data everywhere. Everything that is happening, we are generating data. And to that now, we have space. We have enough space. That's why cloud computing is there. You can put a lot of things there. So the now is fueled by all this technology that I'm talking about. We have cybersecurity. Yes, it may not be enough. We may be saying that, oh, there are these lapses there or here and there. The truth is, it will keep on improving. You are going to be a part of those who also will bring initiative that will improve on that. We have smart products everywhere now. So if anybody is thinking and is still dwelling on the past, that person will not be able to stand the future. That's why I try initially to bring from Wikipedia that definition about time. Time is a connection between the past and the future. So smart products, and of course, if we are not going to be a smart people, we will not be able to cope. We have now pandemic. I know all of us will know that. That's the reason why we cover our nose this time. That's the reason why maybe we will gather in a hall, if not because of pandemic. So that is now. Anyway, I still don't see that as a problem. In fact, that pandemic itself, even though nobody wants it, we want it to go. But I'm telling you, if we open our eyes, it's an opportunity to connect to the future and make the future better for all of us. If we are prepared as people, I'm talking about Africa, well, as some other nation, this will not take over our land the way it is now. But people like you here today will not allow anything that is coming up in the future to catch us unaware. So this is now. Now we have unemployment. I'm sure Mr. Bayode Birunke also mentioned that to us when he was introducing. Now we have unemployment, except we deceive ourselves. People don't have jobs. People are leaving school every day. And it is not that the job is not there or we can't create job, but because our orientation, because of the way we have been living in the past. But now, your time is what? Is now. We need to change that. There is high rate in Africa. Other nations, they have it better, I told you, because of the way their past was handled. So their present is okay. So we don't want our future to be like this. When I'm talking about future, I'm not talking about 100 years. I'm talking about next year. I'm talking about next month. I'm talking about 5 years' time. So I'm not talking about so that we'll not go and sleep and be expecting that, oh, let's begin to brew and brew and brew and one day to come out. No, this is the time to rise up. So now is the time. Now, the world is, when we are talking about now the world is constantly evolving through technology and advancement. And I've mentioned some of them. The world is evolving. When I see so many young people sitting down, all we are trying to do is to move content generated in other parts of the world. It pricked my heart. That all we can do is to just forward. Somebody sends something forward without even finding out whether it is true. We are rushed, things are evolving. We need to quickly get connected. So things are evolving through technology advancement, and one can hardly keep up with. One can hardly keep up, except you are a smart type. I believe you are a smart type, that's why you are here this morning. You know, I told us about smart products. Smart products are there. If people are not smart, people will be left behind. Products will take over. So we are in the world whereby we have smart products and people must be smart. So what do we do? So that I can tidy up what I am to tell you within this few minutes. What do we do? Do we fold our hands? No. You have taken the first right step by being part of this, train. I mean, Africa Challenge with Tech Bridge, and also in support of the university, with the support of the University of Ibadan. Now, what we do, we start evolving too. You need to start evolving. After this opening, some of us may need to go back and review what will be said this morning, and we'll be able to run with it. We need to start evolving as people. This is the time to start evolving. I must tell us that we are already late, we are already behind, except I deceive you. We all know it. This pandemic should not take us, up to this level. Should not. I'm not talking about just, people. But this issue should not, lock us down so much if we have made yesterday as our now then, and have all that it takes, to make sure that we are free in the time like this. So we need to start evolving. And how do we start evolving? We change techniques. We change our education system. Somebody here may say that, but how will I do that? You people in the university, you have to change. Yes, the university is changing it. That is why there is this connection between the town and down. In fact, I have the right, I can speak here today because the University of Ibadan has an MOU with TechBridge. And that is in line with the university vision to be a world-class institution for academic excellence geared towards meeting society needs. The university is only not just going to teach people, but also if they are going to solve society needs. And that's the reason why university go into MOU with TechBridge. This is through the office of DVC RIPS, and that is the person of Professor Lanike Adeyemo. RIPS means Research, Innovation, and Strategic Partnership. So university is partnering with organizations that are serious, that are make now relevant so that our future can be secure. And TechBridge has been found to be one. So we are together in this. So we start evolving by changing our techniques, which I've explained to you. Even the universities all over the world, they are changing their techniques. But we are behind. So our own time is now. We have to run very, very fast. Now, the change in the educational system, of course, is because there is a change in the education system. That's why we are working now so much with industries, so that we'll make sure that men are not just people that carry books in their head, but men and men that are ready. Our people are people that are ready to solve our problem. Now, what do we do? Another thing we need to do in a time like this to acquire skills that can solve problems. If you watch my speech from beginning, my emphasis has been on now we need to solve problems. So we need to acquire skills that can solve problems. Today, I have heard so many things about the skill we need to acquire. They are all right, like critical thinking, creativity, communication, leadership, technology, and so on. Emphasis are laid on this area today. Yeah, but I want to bring them together and put them simply as they are skills sets to solve problems. So you are in Africa Challenge now to acquire skill to solve problems, not just as another certificate. If at the back of any person now, all you are just thinking about is certificate, well, certificate is good, you can keep them. But if you have certificate, you will still not be relevant until when you have the requisite skills that goes with that certificate. So now we need to start evolving. That's what I'm saying. And changes in the education system is coming in. And kudos to TechBridge and University of Ibadan and some other organizations that are seeing this way. Now, another thing that needs to be done now is cognitive agility. What we call cognitive agility. What do I mean? Let me just explain this in a layman way. We need to develop our ability to embrace change. Even these things that we are talking about, the revolution we are talking about, is not going to stay. Things are changing on a daily basis. So whoever is acquiring skill now must acquire such skill in such a way that they will even see opportunities to grow and innovate in any change. That is, I will wake up, I woke up yesterday, this is the way we are doing it. Over the night, I discover a new way of doing things better. Today, I will click to it because that's the only way I can leave other people behind. And that's the only way I can stand out. And that's the only way I can be gainfully employed. If everything I can do, everything you can do is all of us can do, we are no different. So you need to think out of box and make sure that whatever skill you have now must also be dynamic. And that's what I mean by cognitive agility. You are already prepared. You have the skill to move with events. Events, okay, another word that can be used for now is events. So now is not going to be fixed. Now it's constantly changing. I am talking to you now. In the next time, somebody else will be talking to you. That is now then. So things will be changing. So you will also need to be smart enough. When I say smart, I'm not just talking about the way we talk about smartness here. I'm talking about to have the skill sets that is able to cope, to adjust, even with changes itself. So that changes will become innovations for you, not that you will sit back. And with this, I know that you are in this program for this kind of, so be expecting and also prepare yourself. He was asking about your expectation when we started. I know maybe because of number of people who are few then, people were not responding. Maybe a time will come that people will need to sit down. You will need to do a what analysis of yourself. What do I mean by that? You need to know, I mean, SWOT analysis of yourself, your strength, your weakness, your opportunity, your threats. And on that premise, on that platform, you will be able to see what is about to be done, how you can solve problems. So as I'm concluding, now is the time to run. And you know we have pandemic now. You know a lot of things are happening now. You know now people are not sleeping all over the world. Chinese are running very fast. People in other parts of the world, they are running very, very fast. Maybe last year or a few years ago, I was to be examined. I was to present a training to some professional in China. When I look at the young lady, the way she drilled me, I was a bit ashamed of myself. Yes, I passed, but I knew that a young lady like this knows so much about what I've been doing all this year, and it was asking some detailed questions. Yeah, why I will not blame myself too much, and I will not blame everybody, but from this moment on, we will blame ourselves if we don't connect. Even if at all you don't have opportunity to travel to here or there, we have facilities now. We have organizations like TechBrick, like University of Ibadan, who can help people to develop skill sets that will shape our future. So allow me to stop here because the time allotted to me is almost over. To just conclude by saying that now is the time to acquire skill sets for the future. And you are lucky to be here. I have said earlier during my speech that University of Ibadan is in collaboration with TechBridge on this matter and other also arrangement that will impact people to make them ready, for the new world that we are in. We are already in the new world. We are talking about IoT now. We are talking about data everywhere. A lot is still there that has not been discovered, that has not been done. And I think that is what TechBridge is about to pass across to us and to equip us with what it takes to prepare for the future. So note that now is your time. So thank you very much for this opportunity to speak to us this morning. I'm very sure that very soon we'll begin to congratulate ourselves when we meet that we have been able to move forward. Thank you and God bless you. And thanks to TechBridge too for giving me this privilege. And thanks for the University of Ibadan. If there's no MOU, I will not be able to speak like I'm speaking, or I will keep quiet. I will just speak without mentioning the university. So thank you very much and God bless.
Oh, great. We are very glad to have Mr. Soji Adisa participating and speaking live in this program this morning. We're glad to have him standing here on behalf of the University of Ibadan to give this great speech. Guys, if you're excited to have Mr. Soji Adisa give that speech and you think you have benefited from it, let's have a round of thank you in the chat room. Let him see that we are grateful. Let him see that we are grateful that the university too is partnering with us in this goal. Let's be grateful. Let's see our thanks coming here. Yeah, I can see everybody say thank you. Thank you so much, sir. I want to see more thank you from everybody. Yes, let's appreciate the University of Ibadan for allowing this to happen, for partnering with this organization to get this happen. The university is really making things happen to ensure that we rewrite the history of this country on the international scene. We rewrite the image of Nigeria in the international scene. And that is why this is happening. Thank you so much, sir. We're very grateful to have you. And our regards to Professor Olanike Adeyewo, who is the Deputy Vice Chancellor. Thank you so much, sir. Yes, so straight on, I want to move on to discussing technology, discussing the course, discussing programming. Yes, we are here to learn, to drill ourselves into an advanced IT and programming skill, solving problem in this regard. You are able to build apps, you're able to create software that are having strong impact and valuable anywhere in the world. This is why we are here, principally. We want to participate in the evolving innovation and technological inventions that are happening currently in the world. And for us to do this, we need the skill that is required to make it happen. We are glad to have Bernard here. Bernard, like I've said, I've seen the number of apps that he has developed, all functioning at global scale, all functioning at global scale. Bernard is a blockchain engineer. He's also a software engineer. I've been to his office, I've worked with his team, we have done projects together, and I'm glad he's here to speak to us with quite large number of years of experience. I'm sure we'll be able to answer your questions. So as many of you are having questions about your courses, you are not clear of what course you are supposed to pick. Some people pick course, but they don't know what that course is really doing. You have the time to ask him questions. Immediately he's done with the little speech he will do. He will give you time to ask. He will give two or three or four people the opportunity to ask questions from him. You're able to ask from his experience. He has done different projects. And as a matter of fact, he's a all-rounder. So that's why we are very privileged to have him. So ask your questions right now before he leaves, and then I'm sure you'll get the best from him. Yeah, Bernard, you are welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
Mute. Okay, mic check. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm so glad to be here. Permit me to stand on existing protocols. I want to thank Mr. Soji for the great speech. I mean, even being in the industry, I still learned a lot. You always learn new things every day. And I think he has done justice to the topic. I mean, telling us about how the future will be, what the future is looking like, and what the present is already looking like, and why we shouldn't stay in the past. So if you look at it, a lot of us are still staying in the past. A lot of us are still hoping to, finish our school, get our certificates, get that government job, and and it's not looking likely. I mean, the unemployment rate it just keeps increasing, and just a few people, the jobs before you see a job offer out. I mean, a few people would have already cornered it for themselves, especially when it comes to government and other places. So you that has no one out there, what do you do? How do you help yourself? How do you figure it out? And then taking a look from the perspective of what the future has in store for us and what the present still has for us. How do we position ourselves to take full advantage of it? When it comes to software, I mean, people go into software development for various reasons, right? And for some, they say it's their passion. For some, they say if you don't have a passion for it, you're not going to succeed, and all of those things. For me, I believe that, whatever you feel like doing, if you have a very good reason for it, you should go into it. And if your reason for it is to make money and have a better life for yourself, fine. In the process, you develop passion for it. So a little bit about me. I've been building softwares for the past 7 years plus. I've had previous experiences with computers, but I've been professionally working for the past 7 years. And basically, I specialize. I don't really specialize in any of the stacks. Basically, I do mobile, web, backend, and I mean, I'm the kind of guy that jumps into anything that needs fixing. And today, what I'll be doing is I'll be telling you some things from my experience, not from any book, from nothing, from my experience on how you should position yourself to be the kind of developer that everyone wants to work with at the moment. Everyone wants to work with. So, because there's a high demand for software engineers. Of course, there's a high demand for software engineers. It's a well-paying job and everything. But the reality is you still have software engineers who are applying for jobs every day and they still don't have jobs. That's the sad reality. So even though in the news you might see that, yeah, there's huge demand. There's a huge demand. Yes, there's a huge demand. But the demand is for good and above average software engineers. The demand is not just for software engineers, it's for good software engineers. And why is the demand becoming so high? So as Mr. Soja has already told us, this is the present and then this is the future. It's all in tech right now. But now this present and the future that we're talking about, someone needs to build it. Someone needs to build it. It's not going to build itself. It's not going to build itself. It's like we're saying, we found oil. The oil is useless if there's no one to, drill it, and, process it and everything. There's no end product, so it's useless. You can find gold. If there's no one to mine the gold and process it and clean it up, then, it has no use. It's of no use again. And that's the same thing that we're seeing in the world right now. The future we want to build and the future that has been built right now needs to be built by some people. And software developers happen to be one of the important people who are going to be building this future. So now you want to go into software development, you want to build the future. For some of you, you don't want to build the future. For some of you, just, you don't just want them to do things the way they are being done right now. So how do you position yourself, to be in a position where you can tap into this, you can say, you can beat your chest and say, look, I'm getting a job offer from here, I'm getting a job offer from here, and you're rejecting. And make no mistake, I'm not making any exaggerations. I tend to get job offers, like I can get 2 to 3 every month. I can get 2 to 3 job offers from very good firms, well-paying job offers every month. And I don't think if I'm currently in this field and I put in a lot of work the way I do, I would be getting there. I've gotten job offers from the likes of Andela and the rest, but usually, maybe based on the kind of person I am, I have other things I prefer doing. And this career has kind of given me a lot of what you call optionality. So, do you want to build your own product? Do you want to build for others? You have so much optionality. But what are the things that I did that I think brought me to this, to where I am today? And make no mistake, up to now, I still think I'm learning a lot. It's a constantly evolving field. The day you think that that's the end of you. That's the beginning of the end of you. It's a constantly evolving field. And the first thing that I will tell you to do is, better take your notes. Don't forget these things I'm going to tell you. They're going to be useful to you 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years from now. The first thing that you have to do is you have to be humble. You have to be humble. You have to be humble. This is a field where you have to be really humble. I've seen a lot of cases where a new software developer, maybe 1 year in, 2 years in, you feel like you're already there. You feel like, I can build apps now. I can put them on the App Store. I can put them on the Play Store. And you feel like you're already there. And, you start looking down on people around you, I'm smart because I'm a software engineer. And, it feels like this is a field for smart people. I will tell you that it's not. There are many fields that have smarter people than software engineering. So you have to be humble. You have to from a place of service. You have to come as a servant. What are you doing? Softwares are meant to solve problems for people. They're not meant to satisfy your ego. They are meant to solve problems for people. So if you're not humble enough to listen to people, to get feedback from them, then you won't hit your potential. You won't get to the maximum potential that you should have hit. So you should be humble, around people. That humility helps you, listen to people. You learn a lot. You take feedback from people. So that's one. Be humble wherever you get, whatever level you get to. Please be humble. And the second thing that I would say to you is you should stay curious. Stay curious because, as I've said earlier, this field is constantly evolving. What is useful today can next month it might prove not to be useful again. The world would have moved on. So if you don't stay curious, if you stay like a dinosaur in one thing, you don't sharpen yourself, you don't keep yourself up to date, then I'm sorry, you're not going to be a sought after developer. People go for developers who are very curious, who look at where is the future heading to, and start positioning themselves and start learning things that will be useful in the future while being relevant right now. So you should always be curious. And when I say be curious, I literally mean that, look, if you don't like reading, try to read wide. Like, try to read wide, because today you are working on a health application. Tomorrow you are working on e-commerce. Next tomorrow you are working on fintech. Another day you are working on manufacturing or any other thing. And you as a software engineer, you now have to learn this and that, this and that, this and that. If you are working on a health application, then the likelihood you have to go and study some things around health, around that part, and you're not going to any school to study it. So you have to stay curious. The other thing is you should write. I will encourage you to write. For some people, they feel like you should only write when you have become very good, when you are getting ovations for those things. But no, start writing from today. Start writing. If you learn something, you write it. For some people, they took the path of tutorials. So I remember when I started early, back when I started, I used to, take assignments. I used to take my programming assignments. I do them. Then I write a tutorial on them. Now, I wasn't the first person to write them. There are a million other tutorials out there in the world. But I wrote it for me. I wrote it to basically pass that knowledge to someone. And then, funny enough, people were coming and reading it. And, but I got better in my writing as time went on. So when I was writing, I wasn't really writing for the ovation. I was writing for myself. I was writing to train myself. Why? When it comes to software engineering, documentation is a very important thing. And as a software engineer, you have to be able to pass your ideas to other people. You have to be able to sell your ideas to other people. You have to be able to communicate. If you can't communicate, and most of the time, the primary medium of communication usually is writing these days, and if you can't do that, then you can't communicate your ideas. Then it becomes difficult for you to even sell yourself, because, like it or not, whatever interaction you're having, you are selling yourself. You are always constantly selling yourself. And if you can't sell yourself, then you are shortchanging yourself. So today, make it a point to start writing. You don't have to get positive feedback. As a matter of fact, negative feedback is still good. It helps you improve. So look at it that if I start writing today, 5 years from now, what would I have? How many articles would I have written? And surely you will get better. The next thing I'll tell you is stay consistent. If you don't stay consistent, if you're not consistent, if you code today and the next time you code is next month, you would have forgotten everything you learned today. So you have to stay consistent. Do you want to code for 5 hours every week? Then make sure you code for 5 hours every week, regardless of your current situation. So consistency, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to be, it's not really for the people who are smart. This field is for people who are consistent. Consistency trumps talent every single day. Every single day. There are many Cristiano Ronaldos out there. There are many Messis out there, but they're not consistent. They give you flashes of brilliance, but they're not consistent. And that is why you don't keep them on the same level as those two. And for you as a software engineer, that's how you have to be. You have to be consistent. And, consistency, delivering projects, consistently writing, consistently practicing, and consistently failing. So that takes me to my next point. My next point is basically you should feel free to fail. You should feel free to fail. So whenever I'm hiring interns or entry-level programmers, I've noticed that their biggest fear usually is failure. They're afraid to fail. They feel like when they fail, someone will chastise them or put them down or something. But no. Feel free to fail. You only learn when you fail. I've failed a lot. People only see the good things that I've done, but people have not seen the failures that have happened. People only see that, this guy did this and this guy did this. But, the failures, they've not seen it. And when I start telling them of the failures, they're amazed. They're like, how did you come back from that? How did you come back from that? There are days that you feel like the worst person in the world. It's normal. I tell people, embrace it, but make sure that you walk out of it. But know that there will always be a day when you don't feel on top of the world, and embrace it as normal. So feel free to fail. You're going to fail. I'm telling you today, you're going to fail in a lot of things. So get used to it today. I think, so basically these are like some of the core principles that I think I've practiced over the years and I've learned. And even when I'm hiring, these are some of the things that I try to take from other people as well. So be consistent, feel free to fail, stay humble, have empathy, don't, always try to reason with the other person. The golden rule also applies even here. Just try to deliver value. As long as you keep delivering value, as long as you keep doing these things, I'm going to tell you, the coding, there is no secret to it. There is no secret to it. The secrets are these things I've told you. There's no magic formula to it. These are just the secrets. It's the same thing. If you've been playing football every single day, if you play every single day, you will definitely improve. And it's the same thing here. And I'm going to tell you, don't try to push yourself too hard. It's a marathon. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Don't look at someone that's already doing something. The person has 5 years experience, and and you're suddenly, when will I be like this? When will I be like this? No. It's your own journey. It's your own journey. Be authentic. Be yourself. It's your own journey. You're not competing with that person. You can aspire to be like that person, but don't put yourself down and say, just tell yourself that, look, someday I'm going to do bigger things. And you're just telling yourself, you're not competing with the person. If not, you find it. There are so many talented people that, when you see what they're doing, you suddenly give up that I can never reach here. But that shouldn't be the aim. Do I get better? The only person that you should be better than is you of yesterday, not any other person. And I'm telling you that if you're authentic, people will see value in you. If you do these things, you write, you have empathy, you stay humble, and even that humility that I'm talking about. For me, I learn things from my interns. Some just have 6 months of experience, some have just 1 year of experience, but I learn a lot of new things from them. Because I hired them or something doesn't mean that I know everything better. I can never know everything, and you can never know everything. So if you start coding and you go 4 months in, you go 6 months in, what I'm telling you is, look, if you find someone that started 1 month ago, and the person knows a certain thing that you don't know, learn from the person. Just learn, gather knowledge. That's how you get better. Stay open-minded. Don't close your mind. Don't say, I've learned this and then this is this. So please, I believe that if you take these things, you will be a better all-round software engineer. The best software engineers are not the guys who write the best code. No. They're not the guys who write the best code. You can write the best code, but if you can't do a lot of these things, continue bringing someone else to manage you. But I'm telling you that if you do all of these things, because as you go higher in your career, you find yourself writing less and less code and more of managing people. And you're not going to learn it then. It's something that you have to start learning now. You have to look at the bigger picture. Do you want to be the software engineer that is just giving work to always do, or do you want to be a software engineer that you are part of the people that sit on the table to make the decisions? And it's a decision for you to make today. I think if you make that decision today, it will help in guiding you in what you should do in your career. So I don't know if your questions are ready. That's all I have to say for now.
Oh, thank you so much, Bernard. We are very, very grateful for this timeless advice, experience you are sharing with the cohorts of this with this first cohort of the Make Africa Tech Challenge. We are very, very grateful. If you have your questions right now, please ask. Are you confused with any course you have selected? You want to know the difference between back end or front end, or or you are not clear with some terminologies in some of the courses, or you want to know what is in one course or the other, it's time to ask. You have just 5 minutes to do that before our next speaker comes in. All right, so if you have questions, why, yes, great. We're grateful, Mr. Bernard. So please let your questions start coming in right now. Questions? If you don't have questions, we move on to the next. Okay, so some of you guys have been calling with different questions, and I think we have somebody who's right to answer. This is someone who has a chain of experience across some of these different stacks, and you've heard him talk about that in his speech, doing a lot across some of these different programming languages. All right, Bernard, somebody is asking, please, I like more information of full stack. So when we say somebody is a full stack web programmer, what are we talking about?
Okay. So so usually the web is without going into much technical details, the web is basically divided into what we call the front end and the back end. If I use a car analogy, so the back end basically is where all the logic happens, where your data is stored and everything. So if I use a car for that, I would say the back end is like the car engine. That's where everything that runs the car happens, and then the front end is, the decoration outside of the car, that gives you the experience. So when you open your car, it's a front end experience. When you turn when you steer the steering, it's a front end experience. And the engine, the car engine, everything. Without the car engine, the whole thing won't move. So the car engine is like, that is what we call like the back end. So when you hear of databases, and all of those things, that is where the back end is. The part where you see, so the part of the website or the mobile app where you interact with, that is what we call the front end. And typically, people that are very good in graphics, people that have a good eye for color and all of those things, they tend to specialize in front end. And people that feel like they're good with logic, they tend to specialize on the back end. So, but because of market demand and all of those things, a lot of people usually have to learn both so that, you can do both front end and back end. So you're like the mechanic that can use the engine and then also do the body work of the car. But if you specialize in just the body work, you cannot do the engine, then you are more like a front-end developer. But if you can do both, then you are more like a full-stack developer. So that's around that.
Wow. So I hope that answers your questions. So people are waking up now. I think we'll just take maybe one more question, and then we will stop. If somebody is asking, what about middleware and DevOps? I think, Bernard, can you talk about that?
Middleware.
Middleware. I don't know what that person means by middleware, but I can see DevOps.
Yeah. So basically, middleware, it's kind of a technical thing, but I'll try to just distill it to something. I don't really think it's something that you need right now, but I'll just distill it to, a basic level. So the middleware, it's like a layer. You're saying this is a layer where you have to pass before you get to another layer. So usually we have middlewares on the back end. So you are saying, for example, if someone wants to transfer money, through a bank account, you have to you need a middleware to basically check, is this person a legitimate user? Does this person have enough money on their bank accounts for all of those things? So basically, that's like the middleware. So the middleware is like a layer of logic that filters what can go through a software program or not. Then what was the second one? DevOps?
Yes, DevOps.
Okay, yeah, so quickly, so DevOps is more like, I'll still go back to the mechanic thing. So DevOps is more like the guy who actually puts who puts the engine together. It's not just the mechanic. It's like a guy who assembles the car engine together. So that's more like DevOps. So you basically do all of the plumbing on the back end, just make sure that everything works. The whole site is live and all of those things. Yeah. So that's like the simple, non-technical explanation of DevOps.
Okay, great. Mr. Bernard, thank you so much. So as not to waste any further time, I think I will assist. Whatever question you want to ask, you can just drop it in the chat box. We'll gather those questions and get answers from Bernard and other developers too, in case Bernard speaks time, so manage his time. Okay, so we'll get those answers to your question and forward it. Thank you so much, Bernard. If you are grateful to Bernard coming on this, please let's show gratitude. Let's show gratitude in the chat room. Let's appreciate his comment. Bernard, thank you so much. Very grateful on behalf of Bridge and the University of Ibadan. We are very grateful, and we are also glad that Bitnov is partnering with us in this challenge. Thank you so much, Mr. Bernard. Right? Okay. Yeah. While we proceed to the next highlight of this program, I would like to. I can see somebody who asked the question earlier. I'd just like to talk around that. How do you learn programming in a solo way? How do you get to collaborate with teams? Are there platforms to meet like-minded programmers? Yeah, there are a lot of platforms, but then I think one of the major things the Make Africa Tech Challenge is offering you is an opportunity to work with other programmers that you are learning together. You also have mentors who are going to be coming with you. Once in a while, we will still bring Bernard on the training scene to just probably have some chat with you, take some of your questions, maybe just 1 hour someday, and then you still have opportunity. So, but then what I'm saying is you have the opportunity to meet other developers. You are able to work on projects together. That's why this is a tech challenge and not just a training. If it's a training, what happens is you just get to absorb the knowledge and you keep learning. But this, you are learning together with other participants. You are doing projects together. You are drilling yourself. So even beyond what the instructor is giving to you, you are able to go an extra mile. And that's why I like the point Bernard made, consistency. Consistency is very key. You are able to work together with other team members. You're able to learn together. And I believe it's able to accelerate your learning. That's why this is the model we're using. It's a form of challenge. You're able to accelerate your learning. You're able to, what would take others several years to get, you can get it within a short time if you learn to work with team. You learn to work with others. All right, so I like not to beat around the bush in that regard. Just move on to the next thing. I think in a few moments from now, we would have our next speaker here in the person of Mr. Adeolu Akiyemi. We'll be glad to have him here. As soon as he's here, I will bring him on. All right. I just like to, while we wait for Mr. Adeolu to come in, I'd like to share my screen so that I can talk about him. As soon as I get his signal, it's him, then I will bring him on. All right. Okay, so I'm trying to check the participants to be sure if it's already in so that I can just unmute him. Okay, guys, Mr. Adelu will be joining us in very few minutes, very few seconds from now. Gotten a signal from him that he'll be coming in right away. I will be introducing him, talking about him too, and his participation in ensuring that this program is fair. While we wait for Mr. Adelu, I'd like to talk about Mark Phillips. Mark Phillips is a serial entrepreneur and investor. Has traveled over 100 countries, and is a mentor, a global startup mentor at Business in BFIT. Business in BFIT is also a co-sponsor of this program, and he will also be providing monthly mentorship for participants in this program on a monthly basis. At least each of the participants in this program be having 1 hour each with him every month. All right, so he will not be coming in the meeting today, but then come July 25 by 5 p.m., we'll be having what we call the Being Demand series together with us. Every month, we do this program called Being Demand series. And on that date, he'll be here with us to provide some of his insights and also support to the team, to the participants who are involved in this program. Straight on, let me confirm to be sure that Mr. Adeolu is already here. Mr. Adeolu too, who is CEO of OTB.io, is also the GMD of A2W. Mr. Adeolu, I like him to share his experience by the time he's here so that you can see how, you can see what your expectations should really be, what your focus should be in this training, and our opportunities are not scarce. All right, I'm trying to confirm he's already here. Okay, guys, I just like you to give me a minute to get across to him to be sure if he has any challenge coming in so that I can resolve that challenge. Just 30 seconds, 1 minute for me to reach out to him so that I can be sure if there's any challenge. All right, thank you guys. Mr. Adelu will be connecting with us in a very big minute from now to join in the program. While we wait for him to come in, I like to also highlight that for those people who are already fully enrolled into the program, after this program, we'll be meeting again, talking about those people who already made their commitment. No, for some people who have not done that, you still have the time till Friday to do that. By 6 p.m. on Friday, the door to entering this program will be fully closed, and that means you cannot join in again. Trainings principally would also be determining best options. We allow some level of flexibilities around it so that you can vote in the best time. But then, as a matter of fact, we can see that a large majority of participants are preferring to have the training on weekends, so that especially those people who are working class would have time to focus on their work during the week. All right. Okay, so if you have not filled the form, we sent a form to everyone's email. If you have not filled that form, there's a form that we sent that detailed the course you selected, and also detailed, apart from the course you selected, it's also detailed some other information that we need from you. Everybody on this call must have gotten that email. Ensure you fill that form, and we'll be reaching out to you today, just a few moments after this conversation, so that we can send emails to you to join Slack. You can join us on Slack and other platforms that we'll be using for engagements in this training. Principally, the training will be happening on Zoom like this. If not for the fact that we want coordination, and this is more like an orientation program, we are supposed to unmute everybody, right? And then make sure that everybody's video is on. What you see here is a number of people usually think how effective is virtual training. Well, I can tell you it's as effective as the physical training, as long as your internet is good, and then you have a laptop that is also very good. You can share your screen, you can share screen, you can work together with other people, and all of that. Okay, so and that makes it really effective. An instructor, you can ask questions from your instructor, you can get feedback. You guys can chat together with other students. You can also run projects together with other students, looking at each other's screen, and even be able to operate on each other's screen without having been physically present together. As a matter of fact, one of the other advantages you also have doing virtual training like this is it offers you the opportunity to manage time. All right, assuming this is a physical training now, probably some people would have spent up to 1 hour or 2 hours in traffic trying to get to the training venue. But then this allows you to save so much time so that you're able to maximize that time in what is more important. So for me, I believe this is a very valuable opportunity, and we must start seeding into this. A lot of people are still believing that if it's not physical, it's not going to be quality. If it's not physical, it's not going to be as what we expect. But then I believe that is part of the whole kind of thinking. This what's it called? This pandemic right now has also allowed us to see how we need to start thinking. Work are going remote, so everybody's working from home. Majority are working from home across the world, and there's a lot more efficiency. There's a lot more productivity because people are able to manage their time. The time you spend on the road driving, and you're probably even without. By the time you're getting home, maybe you're coming back. All that is safe now because you work from home and you're able to get more things done. All right. I'm glad we already have Mr. Adeolu Akinyemi here. Like I said, he is the CEO of P and also the GMD of K2W. I'm glad that we have him here. He has been a great support to this program. He's a serial entrepreneur, having a lot of business concern, and also an investor. We're glad to have him because he's also going to be sharing some of his experience with us this morning and why you are really at an advantage coming here. Beyond that, what you need to do to have an edge, so that at the end of this program, you can be sure that, like Mr. Sogia said earlier, what you are getting is not just a certificate, but you are able to do the thing. You're able to do the trick. You are really able to solve the problem in this regard. I want to welcome Mr. Adeolu Hon to go on now. I think he's already here. You're welcome, sir.
Hello, how are you?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Hello, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
There's an Adibawale Adetuji that's also speaking. Can you?
Okay. How come? Everybody's muted.
Okay.
Yes.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everyone. Okay, great. If you are here in the house and you can hear me, can you type yes in that window? There's a chat box in front of you. Just yes. You can hear me. I'd like to be here as I can. It won't be fun. I want to just quickly share a few things. So I'll just share a few things. I'll share a little bit of my story. I'll tell you a few things going through. How stories can be. How would things be? How would things work? What is possible? And those. It's a little bit of my story to basically try to encourage everyone and basically inspire as many people as possible about, if you're investing in developing yourself, you can have high dividend returns. So this happened to me many years ago, and I'm sure if I go with the specific numbers, it can look scary to many people that are here. But many years ago, while I was at school, I stumbled on a book. I stumbled on two books, actually. The first book I stumbled on was a book titled 80-20 Principle. It was somebody trying to expatiate and explain, I think, Coach Cotter or some Coach Potter's, it was the title of the author. The title of the book was 80-20 Principle. And what the book was saying is that only 80%, generally 80% of the people do not really go beyond understanding or being able to utilize and 20% value in anything. Up to 80% of the value available in something. And I can give you an example. For example, we have a software called Excel. 80% says that 80% of Excel users cannot use more than 20% of the available suits in Excel. And that only 20%, less than 20% of the available crowd that use Excel know how to use up to 80% of that software. So essentially, what this 80-20 principle was teaching was basically showing that the world is 20 and there's 20 that knows 80. If you look at the way wealth is distributed, if you look at the way knowledge is distributed, if you look at the way political power is distributed, every distribution around the world exists within the 80-20 concept. So less than 20% of the world is richer than 80% of the world. And of course, 80-20 becomes like the fulcrum for wealth. For example, you and I know that less than 5% of the world own more than 95% of the world's resources. That's wealth. With political power, we know that less than 3% of the world control over 97% of the world. But basically, it's saying that somewhere around 2080 is a place where you can say more than less than for how the world is controlled. So I stumbled on this book and I read this book, and it made me feel like, wow. So compared to all my colleagues, I have an opportunity to strive to be this 20% that has 80% of the resources, 80% of the knowledge, 80% of the wisdom, rather than just being normal and being among the 80% who don't know how to, utilize what I do. How can I know how to do it better? How can I become amongst the elite, less than 20% that has 80% of the values. 100 best companies to work for in America. I was in Nigeria. I was in University. I was studying electronics engineering. I was on track to come out with the first class. It looked like, life was good. I'd done a few good grades. I'd done a few things in school. And I felt I'm going to go to work soon. How can I prepare myself? So I got this book. I go to shop by, somewhere. I just found the book somewhere. I wanted to read it. And I read Best School in America. So I read this book. In this book, I stumbled on 100 different companies. Their staff, remuneration, how they take care of their employees, what they're looking out for, what they hire for. And I read. And as I read, it fueled my desire. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what you are doing today or where you are today. One of the things that needs to catch some ginger. People live at the level they live. Only imagine better, you cannot achieve better. The first thing that usually comes to happen to you is that something stokes the fire of your desire, and then you begin to have an appetite for something bigger and better. And ladies and gentlemen, I tell people, experience is experience. Whether you are paid for it or not, so far you got yourself executed in doing something, you are gaining tangible experience. But in order to be able to aspire the future that that is beautiful, first of all, by listening. I saw companies like Procter and Gamble. I saw companies like Mobile. I saw companies like Ford. It was an American book, basically eulogizing the beauty of American companies. So I studied this, and my imagination was fired. And I began to tell myself, what? Maybe I need to apply for one of these companies. Maybe I need to see how I can get a job here. Maybe I need to develop myself to a point where, I'm not average. I'm 20/80 and all those kind of things. As fate will have it. I at that time also had the opportunity of running for a political office in my department. I decided in final year to participate for the first time in politics. And in this participation, I was saying, what, let me go for president. I'll go for president directly. So I contested for president and won. So I became the president of the Department of Electrical and Engineering Student Society, where I love activities to do. So I got myself into a number of things. I led Lagos, organized an electronic week in Ife, brought people in from UI, full-time, different, straight from school before NYC doing this. So companies will come to campus. Somehow my RAS, my reticular activation system, was picking up signals for the kind of opportunities that I had read about in the book. I tell people your RAS is called your reticular activation system. What that does is your eyes don't always see everything around you. There are things that your eyes sees that your brain doesn't register. And the reason why your eyes see it and your brain doesn't register it is because it's not important to you. So, for example, you saw somebody this morning, you didn't pay attention to what they were wearing. You saw a car pass around today, you didn't pay attention to the color. Why? It's not important to you. Your eyes saw it, but your brain did not register it. Now, there's a particular feature in the human brain called the reticular activation system. This is the part of your brain that calls the attention of your reticular to the things that are important to your vision, to your destiny, essentially. And this is fired into place by anything that inspires your imagination, anything that, that captures your vision, that you set for yourself as a goal. You begin to realize that you see more of those things. So if I say, for example, yellow car, you will have thought, have I ever seen a yellow car before? But the moment you go out today, you will begin to see and recognize yellow cars. It's called your RAS, your reticular activation system. So my RAS had been activated. I was looking for opportunities that I'd read about in the book. And true to time, I got interviewed by Arthur Anderson. I got interviewed by Procter and Gamble. I got interviewed by a number of companies here and there. And guess what? September 5, 2000, this year, which is a long year, few years ago, I did a few interviews. And September 5, I got a letter asking me to resume in Procter & Gamble September 5. I got another letter asking me to resume in Anderson September 6. Of course, in Procter & Gamble, I was being part, in both companies, I was being part of a very, very exciting opportunity. In Procter & Gamble, I was offered the job of recruiting and training manager for Procter & Gamble, West Africa. Now, don't get me wrong. This was my first job ever. I hadn't done my NYSC. I was hired as a manager. I was going to be in control of West Africa for the company. And in order to do that, what they saw that I had, they had advertised in the papers. They were looking for somebody that had, about 10 years experience. My years in school, my 5 years in school, by the time they interviewed me and engaged me, discovered inside those years, I had what could stand for that experience. And what exactly was I doing in school? That for that kind of experience. So in part one, I was organizing, I was managing activity of leading people, organizing them to become their welfare, trying to see that everybody was okay, was calculated as experience. Experience, remember I told you, is not experience because you were paid to do it. Experience because you did. By 200 level, I had an academic subgroup that I was supposed to lead. I changed the name of the academic subgroup into a business name. I changed it to Exploit Makers. I hired 39 teachers. We went en masse to 100 level halls in female hostel and male hostel, trying to get people together to let them know how dangerous schooling in Ife was and how they needed to get their grades right and how we're doing free tutorials to help them. We had a following of over 500 people coming for our tutorials. It was amazing. That was level experience. I was able to build an organization that trained people on how to get good grades. Basically, chemistry, physics, and very difficult concepts in school in ways that they could consume. By theory level, so I had different experiences like this. So these are how I've done on campus before presidency becoming and all that. What am I saying? I'm choosing to be paid more than my father and my mother put together, and they are both putting 25 years into the Nigerian civil service. So they are the height, they were at the vantage point in the civil service of the country. My first salary before NYSC afforded me both the salaries combined together as my starting point. Now I watched that multiply by 10 over the course of 5 years. Okay, why? Because somewhere along the line, I stumbled in reality that this world is not evenly distributed. Okay, there is 80 that does 20, and there's 20 that does 80. Beyond the boundaries of average, there's something amazing that will pick you up in its wings and allow you to do a lot more than that little difference. So that you cannot lose out when you invest yourself in learning, when you invest yourself in working, when you invest in getting experience. Guess what? The way the world works, there is nothing free, not even in Freetown. It is free lunch. If you structure your life correctly, you will find that every activity that you do, that you put out there in learning also by experience, will get paid back to you in multiple. So I have this philosophy. I told myself, so I got this job, and of course I still had plans. I was going to do my master's, go and do this XYZ. But as a recruiter manager, you need to know about the company, get its values, understand the concept, and the one that onboards people. And I fell into a few countries that I was traveling around Nigeria to be able to find people to recruit for my company. In doing this, I realized, what? There was time I went to the UK. This was 2000, my 3 years in the company. I was still fresh from school, just finished my NYC. I went to the UK. And I was supposed to go to the UK to go and recruit people who had done their MBA. So I went for a cocktail dinner, universities in the UK who had, their students that studied MBA. I hadn't done my MBA. So they were typically, either age mates or older than me. Went there, met with them. We were able to find one candidate to come and work for the company. So he told me, look, all you needed is not really an MBA. What you needed is you needed knowledge, you needed experience that you gain from volunteering, from doing the things that you are not paid to do, but that is giving you momentum to finally be paid to do something in the future. So he's asking, what's the name of the second book? There's a book, 80-20 Principle, I think by Coach Kocha or something like that. This is 20 years ago. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're here today and you're here to learn, I want to encourage you, put your heart in it. You know, don't do this as they've come in here. No, put your heart in it. Tell yourself, how can I be 20%? The less than 20% that does more than 80%. My imagination, get my RAS activated so that I can pick the things that are mine and run with them. I'm sure I've spoken more than the wrong way already. I don't know, Bayode, I don't know if there's anything else you want me to address. I want to welcome everybody who is here to learn. Plug yourself into it, put your energy in. Let's make this happen. Yeah?
Great. We are very grateful, sir. Guys, if you are excited listening to Mr. Adeolu, let's fill you in the chat. If you are still here and you are listening and you are excited, learning from those wealth of experience, let's fill you in the chat. Anybody who's there? I'm not seeing anything happening in the chat. All right. So someone is asking for your Twitter handle. All right, guys, let's be sure you appreciate this moment, that you appreciate Mr. Adeolu for sharing this, for talking to us on this chat. Yeah, great. All right. We're very grateful, sir, sincerely grateful for this opportunity that has been granted us to listen to you. I think principally, if you have seen from what he said, if you have the ability to do what is required, irrespective of your color, irrespective of your background, irrespective of where you're coming from, you can get to the apex. All right. Somebody is coming straight from school about more than 20 years ago, went straight on as a student who have not even, as a graduate who have not even sat, and became an HR manager in a company like P&G. So that tells you that, and this is 20 years after, you can take from this experience and ensure that you are part of the 20%, part of the 20% that were exceptional, part of the 20% who will commit more time to learning, part of the 20% whose life will be transformed as a result of your decision with respect to this training. I would get the Twitter handle and drop it. Okay, yeah, I think it's already here. Adeolu Akeyemi. Just check Adeolu Akeyemi on Twitter. You're going to be getting through to him on Twitter with that. Thank you so much, sir. Once again, I want to appreciate every of our speakers that came into this program to orientate the participants in this program. We're very grateful, sirs. Thank you so much. Yeah, so as to ensure we manage time and then we round up as soon as possible, I'd like to reiterate that on 25th of this month, we're going to be having our next Be in Demand series. And the fourth speaker for this event will be speaking that day for 1 hour, taking questions on how you can take your ideas from local to global. If you listen to Bernard when he was talking, Bernard told you that he is more interested in how can I build products that will go from here to the world, solving major problems. And if you check one of the current projects he's working on, like I dropped it there, then you will see amazing stuff that is happening from here, from Africa here. And then we need more people who can begin to take such challenge. That's why this training is organized. All right. But then on 25th of July, 2020 by 5 p.m., Phillips will be here talking to us on the future of work. Principally, we're willing to take your questions on how you can take your idea from local to global. How can you learn skills that help you to be able to develop products? And then when you learn those skills, how are you able to get it to the global skill? How can you get attention to them? How can you ensure that it's used all over? He himself has co-founded up to 10 companies, and he has mentored thousands of people across 100 countries of the world. So we are excited to have him even as a partner in this Make Africa Tech Challenge. All right, so without much force, I'd like to go on and then talk about the challenge itself. And then if you have questions around the challenge, you can ask the question, and I will be willing to take the question. But like I said the other time, I like to reiterate that this Make Africa Tech Challenge is principally developed so that we can have much more people develop the skill that I need now, right? Skills that, as a matter of fact, COVID-19, this pandemic has accelerated the need for advanced IT and programming skills. we are having this remote training because some group of people, maybe someone, Eric Yuan, developed a platform like this. And you know what happened when this pandemic came? It was really, really in demand. Across the world, about 200 million people signed up straight away. From a product that is only having 10 million products, within the space of 3 months, a bumper harvest happened. 200 million using this particular product because somebody took the initiative to do something like that. Can we have something like this come from Africa? Can we have an Africa where people, where countries, where individuals from countries all over the world that are known for innovation will now come to seek advice, come to seek knowledge, come to hire talents that work for them and work for them on their own terms. On these African terms, on your own terms, not in form of any cornering or anything that you wouldn't like. Much more apart from that, another thing that I also like to know is that at the moment, we're also working with a number of organizations to also ensure that as soon as you finish your training, for those people who are participating, the opportunities for internship, and you can take forward your learning and expand your knowledge, and you're able to access good jobs immediately. All right. Finally, I also like to mention that you still, for those people who haven't committed to this training, you still have the opportunity between now and Friday to fully book in your spot. We have made it as far as easy for everybody, courtesy our partners. We have made it as easy as possible for you to come in. This program is entirely almost free because when you look at the worth of what you are going to be getting, it's nothing less than what other companies are doing for 1 million naira in this country. So I like you to even wonder, if you do your research properly, even for those that are offering for e-learning platforms, offering some of these courses, go and check how much is charged for this thing. And then you have the opportunity to collaborate with others to get mentorship and all of that. You understand that you're almost getting this for free. And so whatever we're asking you to pay is some form of commitment. We need you to make commitments. We have seen over time that even when you give things to people for free, they don't value it. And as a matter of fact, they mess up around it. And that will mean that we will not be able to achieve our aim with the tech challenge. That's why we made it a broad corner decision to ensure that everybody who will be coming in makes a commitment. It's easy for people to borrow money for burial ceremony, to borrow money to buy things that will probably perish. But when it comes to developing themselves, sometimes it's a bad omen in this part of the world that people sometimes find it hard to do. We're encouraging you to do that. Go ahead. If you have not made commitments towards this training, please make that commitment. And I'm sure it will be a life-transforming one. So like I said, if you have questions, please ask so that we can take your questions before we finally exit this program. We have sent you emails, especially those people who have committed towards the challenge. Sent emails. You have a form that you're supposed to fill. We'll get your emails from there, the course you're applying for, and then we'll be able to inform you of the next line of action. But then our training will be commencing fully Saturday. All right, Saturday and Sunday we'll be training for 4 hours each. You have 4 hours every Saturday, 4 hours every Sunday for training. But then beyond the Saturday and Sunday training, another thing that's going to be happening is that we also have weekly projects. We are going to be engaging on projects. You are going to be engaging on projects weekly. Every week, you are going to be having projects that you have to complete. You're going to have assignments that you have to complete for you to move on to the next level, for you to proceed into the coming week. So ensure that you are really, really ready to engage on some of these questions. All right. So basically, that's all you will need to participate and succeed. If you're able to finish the project, collaborate with others, these are how we're going to be measuring. I have Olamigoke Philip here, who is also a software developer and the managing partner of Atlac Technology. We are glad to have him join us on this call. He will also be providing training. We'll also be training those people who are involved in full stack with the support of 2 other developers who are going to be joining him in that training. And so just briefly, I want him to come up and talk to us about full stack web development and how the course is going to look like. We don't have the instructor for data science here, but then you'll be communicated immediately after, before the end of today, you get information about your course instructor, and now you can get on. We'll gather everybody who have made commitment to this training together, and we'll have another round of conversation with them. All right, so just look up, ensure that you prioritize our email so that whenever we send email, you're able to receive them directly in your inbox, and then it's not going to spam. All right, so yeah, Mr. Goke, are you there? Okay, I'm trying to get in Goke. I'm not sure he's currently available. Okay, probably is out. But then what we'll do is that for all those who have committed towards this program, who are already in, we are going to send you emails before the end of today, detailing to you your login for to join our Slack channel. You have the login to join our Slack channel. You'll be able to join, and then much more beyond that too. You also have details around Zoom meetings, time and everything. Details will be sent to you. Okay, I think somebody is asking a question. Let me check. Okay, mention what made data support for. Okay, yeah, I'm going to elaborate on that right now. Please, I run another program weekend. I prefer weekday training if available. Okay. All right. So for somebody who is talking about data support, I like to mention this. At the beginning of this training is slated. The fee is $1,200. If you read what we put out, there are supposed to be loans that will be provided to that effect. That's around 500,000 naira for the training. We are only going to be offering very few amount of students, which is about 5, and then 30 others, 70% scholarship. 5 people, we're going to be giving them full scholarship, but we're giving 70 people, 30 students principally, giving them 70% scholarship. But then as we roll out the training in the first week, we got more partnership. It was then business in BFIT came, and as I'm telling you currently on this call, in another 1 hour from now, I'll be having another meeting with another partner in Russia, who is also looking to harvest some of the trainees in this program to work with them on projects. All right, so we decided to flatten the requirements to enter, so that apart from whether you're a student or you are an entrepreneur or you're a working class, you have the opportunity of entering. So at that point, we flattened it and we said, anybody who's coming in, let's give everybody 90% scholarship. At the end of the day, our own goal is to ensure that we help as much as possible people, especially as a result of what the pandemic has cost this country to come out. So that by the time next time anything like this happens to the world, we will not be in this same place. So I think it's a large sum opportunity already given to people. So if you are coming in and we have offered the 90% scholarship to enter, I think you should be able to provide yourself with data. That's large. That's a lot of value we're giving here. You are spending 4 months. You're going to be engaging in activities that will be up to 20 hours per week. We are ensuring that by the time you finish this training, you are not just somebody who is having certificates. We are not interested even in maybe you have certificates. Who is certificate helping in this kind of world now? Is the problem you can solve. The problem you can solve, if you can do the trick, people will hire you. That's what Bernard said when he was talking. All right? There are several software engineers out there, several trainings. People have gone to trainings, they have paid even up to $500,000 naira. At the end of the day, they can't do anything. They can't solve any problem. There are many people who have the title of a data scientist. They can't analyze any data. They can't visualize anything, because probably all they just got is a few. It's not good to be average. Nothing average is good. And that's what we are trying to ensure, that everybody who participates in this training would be rugged, would be able to solve the problem, will be able to, whatever course you are finally coming into, you'll be able to do it. And we'll be proud of referring you, of recommending you to employers after the training. All right? What you need to do now is, as Mr. Adeolu have said, is to be part of the 20% who will be extraordinarily good. That you will not just be waiting for course to feed you with employment, but as a result of what you have gotten, you will be able to, get offers. You can see Bernard saying 2-3 offers every month coming to him. I'm aware of some of them, and I know how much they are offering him. All right? So what I'm telling you right at the moment is, don't be so engrossed with what will happen after, that you don't give in your best to this time. Giving your best to this time, position yourself as somebody who employers will look for. as against who will be begging for employment. That's the kind of mentality you should have. If you can build that kind of mentality from now, what happens is you change the game. You change the game for better for yourself. All right? You change the game for better for your career, for your future. Build a position for yourself that makes you in demand, sought after. Let it be that they are looking for you. All right? Let that be your position. This year, I got an offer from a university. I turned it down. All right? Just with some of the few things we are doing here, training around on LinkedIn, on the social media, people are reaching out in gross. All right? It's my option to pick what I want. So what I'm saying is build that kind of mentality, build that kind of frame for yourself, such that you are sought after. They're looking for you. They are sending mails to you to come and join their team and offering you, the opportunity to negotiate. All right? And that would be much I will be saying at this time. So for those people who are already committed, who are already in, I want to congratulate you. For others who will make their decisions before Friday, I also want to congratulate you. We're looking forward to having an awesome and big time with you. And I'm sure that participating in this will definitely change the course of your life for better. I want to appreciate everyone for coming. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation, for coming quite on time. We are really, really, really grateful. And with that, I want to bring this meeting to an end. Don't forget, on 25th of this month, we'll be having what we call the monthly Be in Demand series. All right? We'll be having Mark Phillips will be with us. Mark Phillips, founder of Normal Stay Business in Bare Feet, and all of that would be here to speak live and direct with us. Okay, so make it a date. Ensure you are present. If you have any other question and you want to reach out to me, I think I can drop my contact also. If you have questions, you want to talk to me, directly, you can call me on this number. All right, that's my phone number. So if you want to reach out to me after this time, maybe you have questions or you have something to discuss, you can call me. Then we are giving everybody on this call one more opportunity. Of course, you came and you're still here up to now. One more opportunity for you. You still have the opportunity of referring people. You still have the opportunity of referring people just from you. You can refer one person into this program. Before Friday, we are willing to meet the requirements, let them apply, let them get across to us. We'll still absorb them here. Thank you, everybody, and thank you for coming.